WFYI Podcasts, brought to you by Gang Gang, Butter Fine Art Fair, returning to Indy, Labor Day weekend, August 28th through the 31st. The Equitable Fine Art Fair celebrates the work of established and emerging Black artists from Indiana and across the country. Tickets at butterartfair.com.
WFYI podcasts are brought to you by Visit Bloomington, Indiana, where Hoagie Carmichael, Booker T. Jones, and John Mellencamp impacted the city and helped it become a music destination. Bloomington is home to a variety of musical artists, live music venues, and hundreds of annual music events. More information at musicbloomington.com.
We're going to take a trip right now. Like we always do about this time.
This is a journey into sound. Break it down.
I'm Kyle Long, and you're listening to Cultural Manfesto. Everything Now emerged from Indiana's underground rock music scene in the early 2000s. Formed in 2003 in Muncie, Indiana, Everything Now gained notoriety for their chaotic blend of psychedelic rock, indie pop, and unpredictable live shows. Fronted by guitarist, vocalist, and songwriter Jon Rogers, Everything Now has released 7 albums and attracted a loyal base of supporters. Everything Now will join me in a moment, but first, let's hear a track from their 2007 album, Ugly Magic. This is Everything Now, with Cursed Be the Everything Now, and all who sail with it.
What do I have to do to make you listen? This isn't what you want, but it's misdirection. Should I shake hands with the beast while still revealing his true identity and do it with feeling? Baby boomers, bomb the bunkers with bureaucracy while asking what could the kids possibly want from me? You should hire my generation to give advice to your generation. You should stop using our favorite songs, sell silly products we don't want.
That was Everything Now, with Cursed Be the Everything Now, and all who sail with it. The band recently visited the WFYI studios to record a live set for small studio sessions, and I caught up with the band after their performance.
My name's Drew DuBois, keyboards.
My name's Jon Rogers. I play guitar and sing and write most of the songs.
My name is Alan Bannister. I play guitar.
My name is John Mile. I play bass and sing some of the backing vocals.
My name is Brian Unruh. I play drums.
Thank you all for being here. It's an honor to have you all here today as a band. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's my understanding that Everything Now has its origins in Muncie, Indiana, almost or over 20 years ago, right? You started out as the grand opening and then became Everything Now. Tell us a little bit about the roots of the band, how this all got started.
Sure, yeah. This is John, and I moved to Muncie in 2002, shortly after graduating high school, and just wanted to start making music with friends and had a couple buddies that, really didn't play instruments, and we just started doing songs together as the grand opening, and then within a few months we changed our name to Everything Now. Drew joined the band at that point on keyboards, and we've had a lot of lineup changes since then, but yeah, it was kind of just out of like being young and wanting to play music with friends. That's how it got started.
I'll just say that when the band formed, there was something really magical happening in Muncie in the music scene at that time. Alan and I were in a band called Ever Thus the Deadbeats, and we played a lot of shows with Everything Now, but it was a great community of artists.
Since then, you've released 7 amazing albums. You've played hundreds of shows, I'm guessing. You've developed a loyal fan base, right? Did you think that this project had that kind of longevity when you started out? Did you see that you mentioned there was a magic to the music scene in Muncie. Did you see that magic in this project at the time?
Wow. Honestly, Kyle, I think I was really short-sighted when I was younger. I think we did just want to have a band and just play with friends, but I didn't really have any long-term goals for the band. So I feel very lucky that it continued and that there's always been people that want to play the songs. But I think it would have been hard to imagine, like, are we still going to be doing this in 20 years? And are we still going to be friends and be able to hang out in 20 years? So, like, I think we all feel really lucky that we're still doing it.
Yeah, and it was, one of those things you don't really appreciate until years down the road. You don't really realize how special it was. When we're in the midst of it, it's just like, this is how it's always going to be.
We're having a party, yeah.
I would just add that it's been like when Alan and John joined, that was a real blessing to have them join and play with us because we sort of already had that camaraderie from playing with you all, years ago in Muncie. So, and I know they joined at separate times, but I think that's done a lot for us to be able to continue and keep playing, and it's just a blessing.
Yeah, for sure. And just kind of, I think the thing that's helped us keep it together over the years, even though we took a 7-year break at one point, was just like having fun. Just like, I think our music is not always fun. Some of it's a little sad or kind of about like things being tough or not feeling good. But like actually just getting together with your buddies and talking and letting it all out and playing music together, I think that's been like why we're still doing it. It's just for the sake of like having time with friends.
And that was the rule when we got back together in like 2019 or 2020. It was like, if this isn't fun, we shouldn't be doing we shouldn't be doing it. Like, it should be fun for everybody. And I think we do a good job at keeping that as the focus.
Yeah, it's like we were saying earlier. I don't think we thought about this when we were younger, but as we get older, it becomes like kind of more important to us, and it's something that we look forward to every week. I know, for myself, it's kind of an anchor in my life, even though it's an artistic creative endeavor. It's a really great thing to have, friendship that lasts that long and just have something to look forward to every week.
It seems like Everything Now came to prominence at a time when there was a really rich, independent rock music scene in Indiana. You mentioned Ever Thus the Deadbeats. There was also Margot and the Nuclear So-and-Sos and Jukebox and so many bands. There were labels like Joyful Noise and Secretly Canadian and Standard getting started. Was this kind of a unique time for indie music in Indiana? Do you feel like you kind of were part of something that had some synergy and bonding with these other projects and groups?
Sure, yeah. I do think it felt like kind of a bit of a movement, I guess, at the time. And I think it kind of in an undercurrent that was against the more popular music, and the way that things were being like found and heard at the time was like, my favorite bands are my friends' bands, and we're going to play together all the time as much as we can, and then we're going to be in each other's bands. Like, I think that was a part of that mindset that did make that feel like a special time for bands. I think, like I'm sure most people can say this about music at this point, the internet changed a lot, and I think we were kind of just in that pocket of like everything was still happening in real life. You didn't have anything to do. You had to go see your friends and start playing music together. So.
You didn't have to be a social influencer to like do anything.
Anyone else want to comment on that? The scene at the time the band emerged, around 2005, 6, 7, those years. Any thoughts?
I mean, I think it was always important to just like whatever we wanted to do, just like do it yourself, like figure it out. And I think that kind of like ethos has informed us like as a band like the entire time. And something about that time, I don't know if it was the early internet or whatever, it did seem like there was a lot of DIY, just really like have an idea, do it, make a tour happen, play somewhere else.
Make a giant paper mache octopus. Stuff like that.
Hand out 100 ceramic bells and have the audience play them, like just all kinds of like funky stuff.
Yeah, I do think that that environment of having a lot of bands that were doing very adventurous things helped everybody to sort of be more adventurous and do crazy stage setups, a bunch of different crazy instruments on stage. That was like a vibe that was happening then too.
Drew, you mentioned the DIY aspect of the times, and Everything Now has cultivated a very independent kind of legacy and spirit. And John, I wanted to ask you about a quote you gave to the Indianapolis Star in 2005.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
You said,
I don't remember it.
I'd rather hold the band together for a few years and make some decent underground records than to try to get rich and popular with the press, then ultimately burn out and die hard. Seems like you've remained very true to that vision. Yeah. How do you feel hearing that back now, 20 years later?
I agree with that. I think that's kind of still where I'm coming from with it. And, luckily it has stayed together. It's been something that we can keep doing. But, I mean, honestly, I think that there was that when I was younger, I had some of those goals of like, I want more people to hear the band and we want to tour all over the place and we want everyone to hear us. And I think like the older you get, the more it's like, it doesn't matter as much about being popular. It just matters about like, is it fulfilling? Are you getting something out of it? And are you like spending your time the way that you want to? So like, I mean, honestly, I still feel like that's pretty much true. Yeah.
Let's take a break from my conversation with Everything Now and listen to a track from their most recent release. Off their 2024 album, Hideout Mountain, this is The Dark Place. That was the Indianapolis-based band Everything Now with The Dark Place. Let's return to my conversation with the band. I've mentioned a few times the band was started 20 years ago. As you mentioned, you took a hiatus about 7 years ago. I think it was around 2022 you started playing some shows together again, which culminated in the release of Hideout Mountain in 2024. Tell me what brought you guys back together as a group. I know you were doing some shows for Tonic Ball in Fountain Square. You did some Ramones covers for Tonic Ball, a big fundraiser where a lot of bands come out and play every year. But beyond that, what kind of brought you all back together to revive this band? Or,
I mean, I do think that it was, in part, it was based on just the right people being around at the right time. Like Drew and me and Alan and Brian were all kind of still getting together. We weren't doing everything now. We kind of had this project called Miami Mice 2 that was just like kind of a noise improv project. And we were just making tapes in our garage. And it kind of felt more true to what we wanted to do than Everything Now. We weren't really playing shows. We were just kind of making stuff up and having fun. And then John moved back to town. And I think that was definitely instrumental, John Mile moving back to town. Because he was in the band when we stopped playing. I think that was kind of that like, hey, we're all here again. Why don't we just start doing this again? And we had a couple shows planned, and that was when the pandemic happened, and we didn't get to see each other for like a whole year at that point. And so I think like, you know, it felt like a very natural thing. There was definitely the Tonic Ball where the Ramones was one of the bands was the first thing that got us all back together and was like, this feels really good. So I mean, that was kind of a turning point, but also just having, I think, the right group of people at the right time and feeling like, you know, I was still writing songs. I think I brought my songs to the group and saw if everybody wanted to kind of make something new together. And so, yeah, that's kind of how that happened.
And you're currently writing and preparing for a new album. Tell me about the future of Everything Now. Is this going to continue on for another 20 years?
Hey, that would be cool. Honestly, we would love that. I think we're in a better place now, mentally, spiritually, maybe not physically, but like, you know, we're all getting older, but it really does feel good. And the new album's called Time Castle, or that's what we're calling it. A lot of these songs, I think, have kind of followed the Hideout Mountain pattern of I'll bring a song to the group and we work on it more as a group, and it feels more like everybody's contributing their own parts. And I think we've developed our voice a lot as a band to where it's okay to say like, hey, we still sound like Everything Now. I don't know what else we sound like sometimes, but that's, you know, this one I feel like it definitely got that group effort vibe for me.
Anyone else want to comment on the future of Everything Now?
I mean, I think it will be our best record yet. I think it is the most, to me, so far, it really does sound like us. And I think what you said about like having, like finding a group or collective voice and using the studio as a tool, like we're all really stoked about it. And it's fun. Yeah. It's been, to me, it's been a lot of fun.
I'm going to ride this wave as long as I possibly can. For sure.
And I mean, the future's completely unknown. It's a mystery, and I think we've all started to kind of cope with that and deal with the fact that, like, maybe we'll keep doing this, and as long as we're all into it, I think we will. But you never know what's going to happen, so, you know, the future's a mystery, and we hope to still be here and do what we can, but you never know.
I'm in for the ride.
Yeah, I think we're all into it if we can, yeah.
John, before we go, I wanted to mention a new endeavor you're embarking on. You're opening a record store here in Indianapolis. Tell us about this store, where it is, and when you'll be opening, if you have that. set yet.
Yeah. The store is called Take Care Records. It's going to be at 62nd in Allisonville. It kind of feels to me like the culmination of my whole life as a musician and as a guy that's worked at record stores, record collectors. So we're supposed to be opening in July. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's kind of just a one-person operation right now, but I do have a lot of good friends helping out. Everybody in the band's been super helpful and supportive. But yeah, Take Care Records, hopefully July 2025. New place for people in Indianapolis who love music.
Yeah,
and books and movies as well. We're going to have a lot of stuff, yeah.
Looking forward to shopping there. I want to give all of you or any of you who want to offer a final thought a chance to do it. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I just want to say I feel very fortunate to be playing in this band and still be playing in this band at 40 because they were one of my favorite bands when I was in college, and they were all my friends, and just never thought that it would be this much of a positive influence on my life still to this day. So I just feel really grateful.
Yeah, I mean, my final thoughts would just be that I love these guys, and I love what we get to do together, and I hope we get to keep doing it as long as we can. And it's definitely an honor to be here at WFYI and to be talking to you, Kyle. And we appreciate all of y'all and what you do, and we support public radio.
Thank you for that, John. And thank you, Everything Now, for being here. Love what you're doing, and great set today. We've been listening to my recent conversation with Everything Now. Check out their performance for WFYI's small studio sessions at WFYI.org. We'll end with a track from their 2008 album, Spatially Severed. This is Everything Now with Labyrinth. WFYI Podcasts, brought to you by Gang Gang, Butter Fine Art Fair, returning to Indy, Labor Day weekend, August 28th through the 31st. The Equitable Fine Art Fair celebrates the work of established and emerging Black artists from Indiana and across the country. Tickets at butterartfair.com.